Welcome to another video. We are going to be reading books a very fun way. We've kind of been on this train for a little bit now, but we haven't made a video about it yet. But we are going to be reading books specifically on Kindle Unlimited. Now, the reason for that is not only because we've become e-readers recently, but also because we wanted to see if it's worth getting Kindle Unlimited for other people. For us, we know it's definitely worth it, and we'll talk about that later on. But we just want to see if it's worth it for like the general person, and so I felt like this would be a fun way for you guys to see if it's something you'd be interested in. I have a literally ancient Kindle from like the dawn of time. I believe this is from 2012 is when I looked up like the serial number to see when this came out, and I think it's 2012. Like this is early dinosaur Kindle. There's currently a random man on it. I don't know this book. This is super old, but it still works like a literal champ. And Sam does not have a Kindle, and she uses the Kindle app on her phone, and that has always worked super well for her.
How long do you think we've had Kindle Unlimited before?
I would say a couple months now.
Yeah, I think at least 3 months now. So we're kind of familiar now that we've had it.
Yeah, I didn't want to do this video right away because we really didn't know how long we were going to be using it. We didn't know exactly how much it was going to become like a part of our day-to-day, especially with like our e-reading and stuff. I didn't know exactly how long we were going to stick to it because I specifically am not like a super big e-reader. I feel like if anything, kind of steer away from it. It actually ended up being way more useful than I thought it was going to be. We've had a lot of books recently where we're in the store and we're about to buy it, and I'm like, oh, let me just check real quick, and then it ends up being on Kindle Unlimited. So that has been really interesting to see because I definitely thought that the catalog wasn't going to be expansive, and it definitely has proved me wrong. Long story short, in today's video we are going to be reading books specifically on Kindle Unlimited. Now the first book that we're going to be reading is one that I'm really excited about and that Sam's really excited about, and it is actually Belladonna. This one. Belladonna. Woo! Girl. There you go. And I'm really excited about it. So there's actually a book that we saw off of, I believe it's Alexa Ray's YouTube channel, who is one of the booktubers that I watch that I really like. She made it sound like it was the best book she's ever read. So I feel like we just have to read it. Basically, we're following Signa, who has gone back and forth between a lot of different guardians her entire life. She doesn't have her family of her own, and so she's been taken care of by all these guardians who never really want her for the right reasons. And basically, she ends up going into these final guardians that she's with, and there's a murder mystery going on, and that's kind of the main center of the book. And then at the same time, she is actually having weird interactions with Death himself, and he's kind of like a character that's going in and out of her life that she sees once in a while. And so you're seeing that and like that growing kind of odd relationship with Death himself. I'm really excited about it because I've heard a lot of good things, and that's it. So yeah, we're gonna start reading.
We're sleepy.
I took a shower, girl, and I wanted to give a little update on the book so far because I'm so out of breath, girl. I go up one flight of stairs. You know what I mean? I go up one flight of stairs and I'm like, so that says something about me. Anywho, a little update on Belladonna. We are really liking it. We're only a couple chapters in. We read a little bit outside, and then it got really chilly. So we stopped that promptly because I got freaking frozen. I'm gonna read some more now, but we were just waiting because Sam just went to the store and actually picked up this coffee for us, like a sweet tea pie.
I like the writing style. I feel like it's easy to read.
Yes, the writing style is definitely very user-friendly. I definitely feel like if you're in the mood for a fantasy, but you're not in the mood for too much, in terms of like those first couple chapters where it's
thrown at you.
Yeah, where you're learning so much at once.
Or I feel like world building kind of situations.
Yes, like it's not like that at all. It feels a little seamless. It started off with like a little throwback to her being a baby, so you're seeing like the whole story without it being too much.
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if they can hear me, but
okay.
What time does this take place in?
Time period?
Yes.
There's a word for when something takes place. Regency?
Oh, that's
something like that, where it's like all like carriage and women are wearing corset dresses. You know what I'm talking about. You get it. You get it. Around Bridgerton vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like yeah. They look like that. But like
that's what I was like.
Probably the gothic side.
I went in thinking it was like current time.
Oh,
and then
really?
Yeah, I did. And then I was like, there's a carriage pulled by horses. I was like,
I always assume that fantasy is sometime in the past.
I don't know why I thought that.
I'm not a fan of urban fantasy. I feel like that's really why I don't like dystopian, is because I feel like
I just don't like dystopian in general.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I feel like dystopian got ruined because of our childhood being full of dystopian stuff, but urban fantasy is just not my vibe. I don't like thinking about a dragon and then you get a phone call. You know what I mean? I'm like,
That's true. I don't like that.
Like, don't be making an awkward TikTok reference and then be casting a spell. Like, it immediately snaps me out of it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that has nothing to do with belladonna. That's just my personal preference. I always wear this hoodie, by the way. If you think I don't have more than one outfit, I do. This is just my favorite one. So
it's the coziest one. I put it on and it's so cozy, guys.
This hoodie makes me look like a circle. And I'm already like a curvy girl, you know what I'm saying? But like it gives me nothing. It doesn't hug my frame in the slightest. I look like a globe. Like I look like the gravity is coming to me, you know? And I don't care because I am so cozy. Don't make me spend on my access for you, you know what I'm saying?
How does this come to you, this content?
You know what I mean?
How did you become a globe all of a sudden?
Because I'm trying to think of like the biggest circle I can think of in a planet is pretty right there. This has nothing to do with belladonna. Why do we like belladonna? It's really easy to get into. We're only on chapter 3, so it's not like we're seeing any like real spoilers, but like we've already met Death and we're seeing like kind of like where her powers are and like where they come from and a little bit of more like who she is, because I wasn't getting a good idea of what was with her that involved like the magic system of this world, you know, like if she had powers or like what was going on with her.
Yeah.
Maybe it said in the back of the book, but like I don't remember. So that was interesting because now I have like an idea of where the story's gonna go. Ugh, see, I like my Kindle. I like my Kindle. I like the idea of Kindle Unlimited. I like the concept of just being able to hold it. I just feel like I am so deeply a physical book girly that even though I enjoy Kindle, I like what it does. I love that I can just sit comfortably because I feel like sometimes books are really uncomfortable to like get cozy with. I just feel the disconnect and I don't know why. I don't know if it's the screen. I don't know if it's not feeling the book in my hands. I don't know if it's not flipping the pages myself. I don't know what it is. So that's my only complaint so far about reading it on Kindle.
I don't feel that, but
I do. I feel like I'm having a hard time paying attention.
It's valid.
I feel like whenever I read a book on Kindle is when I'm putting it down the most. But we're gonna keep reading and eventually we have to get dinner. So update you eventually. Different day, same hoodie, you know how it goes. We are more than halfway through belladonna and it's going really, really well. I feel like I'm around the range of like a 4.25. I can definitely see why this book is popular. It's definitely bringing on the more like murder mystery vibe, which is very interesting to have in a fantasy story. I don't think we've read anything like that other than like
the closest thing would be the Evelyn Hardcastle.
Yeah, like Stuart Turton. It's nice to have that kind of vibe without that complex of writing style, so that's nice. The other thing I want to update on in terms of like the Kindle aspect, I was starting to feel like my eyes were getting a little tired with it being on my Kindle. I don't know if it's because my Kindle is so old or if it's because, I don't know, if like my eyes are just weird with like the screen or whatever, but I ended up switching to reading off of my phone, like the Kindle app on my phone, and that was working really, really well. So I don't know why like a regular screen was making my eyes less tired than the Kindle, because I feel like it's supposed to be the other way around. I actually switched it, we both had it switched to the continuous scroll, so rather than like clicking the pages, we were just like doom scrolling basically, but reading. Definitely love the whole Kindle vibe. I feel like it's such a great option. I don't necessarily know if I'd ever put it as like my #1. I don't think I would ever become like a full Kindle convert by any means, just because I feel like, I don't know, I can't get past that screen disconnect. I don't know what it is, but I've just never been able to get past that. But having it as an option has been really, really good. If you watch any of my other videos and you've seen like me reacting to books, I have such visceral reactions. Like it is just, I'm so animated and I'm like experiencing it so loudly, I feel, that I need the book to like hold on to, if that makes sense. Like if I don't have the book to like squeeze when I'm screaming or like to shut dramatically, like I can't shut dramatically a Kindle. What, to just press the off button? That is so anticlimactic. Like I need to shut it and be like, what is going on? And then open it back up. Like it's part of the whole experience with me. Like if I'm not able to like slam it and like squeeze it and like peek at it. I don't know. I just feel like it's not the same. It's not me reading the book to its fullest potential. You know what I mean? She doesn't have these types of reactions to books normally, so she can just be like, whereas I am like to my books. So that's all for now. I'm happy to report that we finished the book.
It was really good.
We rated it a 4.5. And we really liked it.
Yeah.
The ending, there was like some good plot twists. There was enough of a reason to want to read the second one, which I always feel like is a good thing to judge off like that first book in a series. It's good to see like if there's a reason to go to the second one, which there definitely was. Really liked it. We definitely want to read the second one, and we actually bought the second one. So here's the thing. You guys know, if you watch our videos, that we are obsessed with half-price books. We talk about it all the time. And their stuff has been friggin' slaying. So we have gone multiple times. We're very lucky because we have so many locations like within like a 30-40 minute radius where we can go to like 5.
Yeah, at least 5.
Yeah, so we are very lucky in that regard that we have so many around us that we can pick and choose. Same thing with Barnes. We have a lot of Barnes. So we stopped at a half-price books that we don't normally go to. We got Books Club, and we ended up getting the hardcover, even though we normally prefer paperback, but we got the hardcover because we don't want to be stuck in another situation that we are like with Light Lark, because we want all of them to match. And with Light Lark, we got the paperback, and now the second book and the book that's about to come out are all hardcover, and so now we're kind of like stuck almost. Long story short, we got this. It's originally $20, right? That's what it says, 20. We got it for 10, half off for a hardcover. That's pretty good. And it's in like pristine, perfect condition, like absolutely nothing wrong with it. No yellowing, no nothing. I'm the biggest fan, but really excited about it. And I think we both agree that this is the prettiest book that we own, because like the actual dust jacket is nice and everything, but when you take the dust jacket off, like look at that. I don't want to show the synopsis because obviously that's all the spoils, but like look at it. This is so pretty. Like, look at that. There you go. Oh, I'm just obsessed. It's easily the prettiest book we own.
So on the inside parts too.
Oh yeah. On the inside, like look at that. And, like her little face and everything. And like the people. I just think
it's really cool.
We've never had a book this pretty. We also got 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo because we have decided to try to test the hype, because we love her writing. We love Ninth House. Pretty soon we're going to try to get to Hellbent for her like adult books, but this is a series that is super popular. It's a duology, and everyone and their mother has said that this is a good series or a little duology. We got it because we really like her writing style, and I feel like we have to at least give it a shot. Now comes time where we have to pick the next book that we're going to be reading. For this video, we are going to go through the catalog for Kindle Unlimited and take a peek and see if anything sparks our interest. We just are having a hard time because there's too many options, and we'll get back to you when we figure it out. We're probably just going to sit in these exact same spots and scroll on our phones. We have decided Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, and I'm excited because I was still in the mood for like a little bit of a fantasy, but I don't want anything that's like too similar to Belladonna, because
yeah, you don't want to compare yet.
I don't want to compare it. I feel like I can't read something that's like way too close. It needs to have its own time. We're gonna be reading. You'll see. Cringy, you guys. I wanted to do this quick update because we are halfway through the book and we're kind of almost sort of wholeheartedly thinking that it's gonna be a 5.
We really like it.
Like, we are obsessed. I know that the last clip you saw was me mouthing that it was cringy to you, but like I feel like that was just the initial like getting used to the writing style, and the second that I got into the writing style and like into that mindset, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Like, it is so funny. It's such a breath of fresh air, like so lighthearted. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like it's a good, well, it's a great like other way to talk about like the fantasy genre and like evil villain, like making them, I don't know, like have a whole different perspective. I'm just finding this so refreshing. And like her as a character, like the main character, she's more of like a damsel in distress type of vibe where she's like constantly falling and she's constantly saying weird things, and like, I don't know, she's not like a confident, like strong character. I mean, she's strong in like her own ways, but like she's kind of a disaster. And definitely like that's played up a lot, and I felt like in the beginning that she was kind of annoying, but she has charm.
Yeah.
Where I've grown to really like her as a character, and I feel like it's given me a whole new way of thinking when it comes to the damsel in distress type role, and that, because normally I just find it annoying. I feel like I get annoyed when the girl is like quirky, like that quirky role I find kind of cringe, but it's so good. So I'm gonna show us reading it later. We're about to go out, but I needed to give this little update, and I'll show us reading later because we're both having like a lot of reactions. Like I'm like laughing and giggling and having such like outwardly reactions. I'm just really enjoying it, and I didn't think, I mean, I thought we were gonna like it, but I didn't think that we were gonna be obsessed with it. I've been listening to it off of Kindle on the like assistive reading mode, and Sam's been listening, shaking her head because it sounds terrible, but I don't have the audiobook. She's been listening to the audiobook, and then we've just been reading like on our phones, like on regular Kindle, and we've both just been having a grand old time.
Yeah, it's a nice change from the stuff that we're used to. Like, I don't think we've ever really read anything like it.
Yeah, because it's so lighthearted. Like, it's genuinely, it's just not that deep, which I love.
Honestly, it's a great,
because I feel like, I mean, it's, if you want a book that gives cozy read vibes while it's still entertaining, this is it. Because I feel like a lot of books that are more cozy reads, I get bored because it's so low stakes, or there's really nothing going on, or it's too character driven, or whatever the case may be, where I'm not intrigued or I'm not laughing. This book, it's going really quickly.
I feel like it has a little bit of everything.
Yes, it literally, I genuinely think it's like a perfect book.
A little bit of romance, a little bit of comedy, like a little bit of adventure, a little bit of fantasy.
Some fighting scenes, but nothing too crazy, nothing too gory or icky or anything. Like, it is just like the perfect sprinkle of everything wonderful. I really am enjoying myself. Right.
You guys.
Oh, you gonna tell him? Go ahead.
We finished the book. It was really good. 5.
That was an understatement. It was amazing. It was literally everything that I wanted. Like, I was tripping the entire time because it was so good. Like, I was freaking out. And I'm sorry I didn't get to show more of that for you guys, but
great plot, funny. I love the characters, like everything about it.
Kingsley. Oh, we love Kingsley. Kingsley's a little frog who is...
He holds up signs.
Yeah, he holds up signs to communicate. So, like, there'll be something going on and he's like, danger. And he's just holding it up. Plotline of the entire story is that there's this villain. He's, like, doing all these bad things to the kingdom. Evie comes along and she bumps into him in the woods and he ends up getting a job with him because she needs to help her father and her sister. Her dad's actually sick, and so she's trying to help him. And they just go from there, and it's so unserious.
But, like, they actually have serious topics within the book, too, which I think is, like, they do it in such a great way.
Yeah. I went into it with such low expectations, and it just blew me out of the water. I mean, there's nothing too complicated about it, which I really like. Like, if you're looking for a super in-depth, crazy world-building fantasy, that's not what this is. But this is like, you want to jump into a fantasy world, you want to jump into a back-and-forth type of romance build. It's almost like a sitcom with the villain's character. Like, he's supposed to be broody, and he's supposed to be crabby, and he's supposed to be doing all these bad things. He is. Like, he's doing violent, bad, evil things. I thought that they were going to be like, he's so evil, and he's not really doing things, but he's like straight up there
killing people.
Yeah, killing people. He has heads like around because he's decapitated people. Like, genuinely not good. Torture, all this kind of stuff. But it's just so lighthearted that you don't really feel as like icky and gruesome about it. I guess it's done very well, and I like that he stayed evil. Like, he was evil the entire book, which I feel like is so rare when you have a character like that. I feel like that's when you start to have them being like more smushy and stuff like that. Not even just in the romance sense of it, but just as a character. I feel like he would have broken by now in other books, but he stayed the villain truly the entire book, which I like so much, because I hate when you go into it thinking it's one thing, and then by 3 chapters in, everyone loves each other, and now we're just waiting for that like 3rd act nonsense. Like, all of the problems stayed making sense the entire time. There wasn't like a super early resolve, and then we had to like make up a problem later. Yeah. Like, it just stayed the way it's supposed to. And like the plot twists are crazy. Again, really like the characters. Writing style was really easy to get into. Only in the beginning did we think that it was going to be cringy, but it's only because, again, the main character Evie, she's portrayed as like kind of cringy and awkward and bumps into a lot of things, says the wrong stuff. So I was expecting for her character to be more, again, cringy, but it ended up where you kind of...
Yeah, once you met the villain, it got much better.
Yeah, and you end up being able to understand her more and why she's like that, rather than just being like a quirky girl. Like, she's just her own persona, and it makes more sense. So I highly recommend. We gave it a 5 stars. We absolutely loved it. But in regards to the Kindle Unlimited side of this, because it's not just a raving of the books we've read, we really, really like Kindle Unlimited. We feel like it has definitely upped our game when it comes to reading. If you are someone that can handle Kindle like reading, e-reading, I highly recommend that you look into it and see if it's something that you'd be able to like budget for. For us, it makes such a big difference because we're able to put off buying a lot of copies, because again, there's 2 of us reading at the same time, so we're able to go onto Kindle Unlimited with all the books that are on there, and it makes it a lot easier, especially like trying to figure out what books we can read together. It makes it easier that we're looking at the same catalog, because if you're trying to read with other people and you all have different libraries or you have access to different stuff, it just makes it hard to plan, and then you're buying all these copies, and books are so expensive. So really, Kindle Unlimited is only the cost of like 1 young adult book, not even, depending on which one you grab.
And especially like if you don't really care about like keeping the copies of your own books.
Yeah.
Like if you don't care about having your own personal library and you just want to just read. Like,
or you just want,
like,
or you want to be able to buy in bulk. Like there are books that we're wanting to buy where you either want different editions of them, or we don't necessarily need to read it physically, whatever the case may be, for whatever reason. So we're planning on ordering them like on Amazon way later on, and we're gonna do like a big order. And so I'm glad that we're able to read those stories now, because we like to have our books as a collection and like memories, like for our personal like keeping. Just being able to buy that 1 copy and like keeping it in pretty good shape and buying it on Amazon where it's like the cheapest as we could possibly get it, like having that option where Kindle Unlimited like is able to keep us going for a lot of books is really, really nice. And then obviously like reading off of your phone, as long as you can do that, there really shouldn't be a problem. And then obviously I highly recommend looking at your libraries, like if you have Libby, or there's a bunch of other apps, so I would really look specifically at what your library has, because Libby is not the only option. So
yeah, like my library offers Libby plus 2 other
yeah,
apps
mine is Libby and 1 other. So yeah, I highly, highly recommend Kindle and e-reading and everything about it. It definitely, I feel like if you are having a hard time with it initially, I really do recommend going onto the settings and messing with it. So like we both changed our colors to like the more yellow background, and so it feels more of like a real book. Or there's like the night mode, or like you can make the font. Like sometimes you can change the font depending on stuff, and then sometimes you can change the size, or you can always change the size. But like there are so many options. And then there's like assistive reading, which isn't like full-blown audiobook if you're fine with it sounding kind of like Siri-like, which doesn't bother me. So I listen to books off of Kindle Unlimited, even though, like, again, you really have to be able to handle the Siri voice, because Sam can't. So it's really like up to you, but that's another option, especially like if you really want to hear like the last part of a book and you no longer can physically read it. That's been really nice. And again, I feel like people will comment about Kindle Unlimited and say that it's not worth it because it doesn't have every single book. But if you just search a couple books and try to see if it would be available on Kindle Unlimited and it's worth it, if you can read 1 book a month off of there, you're canceling it out. So highly, highly recommend. Again, I know obviously money is money and not everyone can afford it, and we're very lucky to be in a situation where we can handle having a subscription like that. But if it's something that you're thinking about, I highly recommend it, just because everyone's obviously different, looking up a couple books that you've had your eye on, or a couple authors, because some authors just put all their stuff on there. Like Abby Jimenez has a lot of her stuff on there. Elsie Silver, Carissa Broadbent has all her stuff. She's the one that did Serpent and the Wings of Night. So again, there's so many authors that put a lot of the books, or at least their first one, on there. I highly recommend. But that's it for this video. So appreciate you so much for watching.